Welcome to another episode of On Foodable Weekly, where we cover everything in the restaurant industry, from technology to industry trends, culinary, you name it. In this show, we are all over it. We are here at the FS Tech Show in New Orleans, and we've got a great crowd with us today talking about software as a service. So we're going to open up this session here, guys, with a pretty cool group. Paul Molinari, you are with CrunchTime. Tell us about you and
Sure.
Your background.
Thank you very much for having me, Paul. Gentlemen. My name is Paul Molinari. I'm the marketing director for CrunchTime. We are a back office system company, cloud-based software that helps restaurants scale.
Beautiful. Now, Mo and Erle, you guys are longtime friends of ours. Thanks for stopping in on the set today. Mo, kind of what do you do at Monkey Media?
I don't do anything. I just show up. No, I'm the president of Monkey Media Software. I run the software division for Monkey Media, and we like to think that we're the #1 cloud platform for restaurants for their takeout, delivery, and catering channels.
Beautiful.
So I run the technology division of our organization.
Really get into where the hard work is. Earl, what do you do besides look good and on camera and hang out?
Well, yeah, so my name's Erle Dardick, and I'm the CEO and founder at Monkey Media Software and the Catering Institute. And Mo and I work together, where Mo is really the technologist on the team and brings sophisticated technology into restaurants. And I work with restaurants on their business strategy, and I help them to really understand how to leverage the brand and generate more revenues on top of existing assets to get their customers to spend more money with them.
Beautiful, beautiful. Lee, you are with SinglePlatform.
Yes.
What does SinglePlatform do?
SinglePlatform basically takes the most important information for a restaurant. So menus, photos, specials, hours, rich content, and basic information, and gets it out to all of the publishers, mobile applications, search engines that give restaurateurs and marketing people the biggest headache.
Right, right.
So we're managing that content for all of them.
Beautiful. So you guys, of course, are here on set today to talk about software as a service. You guys are in the cloud. Every one of you have products in the cloud, and this is kind of the evolution over the last 5 years, where technology has kind of evolved, obviously. Paul, you are looking at the back of the house, so your specialties are in that area. How do you see restaurants really kind of migrating to this whole cloud idea, especially with something as critical as back of house?
Yeah, you know, it's the very startup of a company, of a restaurant. You're inventing your processes as you go along. You're, for all intents and purposes, building your system. But in order for you to scale, to really take the next step up, you need to automate your business processes. And so I think what the cloud does, it really kind of allows you to very inexpensively tap into a very, very deep and wide platform like a CrunchTime from a technology standpoint.
Absolutely. I think you have a good segue into a question for you guys here at Monkey Media, and that is, Mo, how do you see restaurants really leveraging the power of, say, a cloud-based catering product?
Well, at the end of the day, the advantage is access to information quickly from anywhere, anytime, any device. And that's hard to build from a build versus buy decision.
Right.
And the advantage that we bring to our customers is really, if you think about it, we work with lots of different vendors or operators that are out there, so there's a lot of learnings gained. So the product that's being developed and matured has a lot of best practices that are worked into it through the knowledge that we gain. A lot of restaurant operators, whether it's a fancy spreadsheet that they develop for their production, for the catering, they think that they can do it, but all of them sort of reach a point where they realize that, okay, this might work for me to try it and prove that model, but ultimately if I want to scale this, then I need something that's mature, that's been thought through, that's been trusted, and more importantly, puts me as part of the community of other operators that are trying to do what I'm doing. So that's really the biggest advantage as well.
Absolutely. I think scale is what you're talking about, and Erle, how do you, because that's strategy now. You're getting into the more integrated part of, hey, even though you might have a great cloud product or service, getting it implemented into a system is a challenge in itself. How do you guys address that?
Well, you know, we spent a lot of our time really connecting with restaurant operators to make sure they understand the business strategy. So we developed this IP around this process, manufacturing, distribution, sales teams, and these were all elements in the restaurant industry that don't live in a big way. Restaurants have not done a great job at leveraging their assets to sell more services to their customers. And so we're bringing in new ideas and very sophisticated ideas using the web to really bring that experience into the cloud, where we're connecting consumers, delivery drivers, accounts receivable collection people, sales teams, all in a real-time based environment. What we've done is we've built a curriculum. We've actually built a framework called the 5 Pillars of Restaurant Catering that we use.
That's the Institute, right?
Yeah, that's the Institute. And what we do is we use that to benchmark where they are in their organization on these pillars. And then if they are weak or there's gaps, we actually don't deploy technology.
All right, so that brings up a question, and that is always adoption. Lee, you guys work with a lot of restaurants that are in the midst of utilizing the web, in some cases to the level that you guys do it for the first time. So integrating their menus online, that kind of thing. What is the adoption rate that you're seeing? Is everybody pretty much, Katie, bar the doors, everybody's in? What's the feeling you guys get?
The education is already there. Like, everyone knows that they need to be everywhere. But where there's a little bit of lapse is they think that, or restaurant groups and marketing groups, even agencies will feel that they can actually get in touch with all of these different sites, all these different apps, all these different publishers to manage all of that content out there. And they feel like they're taking care of it. Similar to what you were talking about with back of the house, it's difficult to do that in-house because the way we look at all these different sites, search engines, apps is like, picture them as different houses. Some houses are made of brick, some are made of wood, some are on stilts, just different ways, but they all have different plumbing, different wires, different piping and everything. So on the, at the actual restaurant level, they can't build all that integration into those publishers. That's what we do. We take their data, put it up to the cloud, and integrate straight within these publishers. And
you're also bringing a process too, right?
Exactly.
So, at the corporate level, they know that chain-wide, everybody's using the tools the same way. And with that standardization, you get efficiencies too.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you deal with this kind of approach? Because you're hitting on something I think that probably affects all three of your companies in the sense of this dispersion of all these points out there. You're dealing with, on the back of house, you've got POS integration, you've got mobile payment issues, you've got labor, all those kind of things. You guys are dealing on catering, same kind of scenarios, and then you guys are dealing with all these platforms, that, of course, hence your name, the single platform. I mean, where do you see the challenges in that? I mean, trying to reel all of that in, because that's a big question to answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's challenges both on the restaurant side and on the publisher side. The restaurant side, the marketing department is coming and being like, yeah, we want our information everywhere, we want to make sure it's accurate. But then the operations team is like, well, how are we going to go ahead and update all of that information? How are we going to use our systems to do that? So internally with the restaurants, it's about strategizing with them and finding out a solution that's going to work to make sure that their information is displayed how they want it to be displayed across this publisher network.
So Paul, you guys are obviously with back of house, how many POS systems do you guys tie into now?
Yeah, there isn't a POS system that we couldn't integrate with. And I think that one of our objectives at CrunchTime is to be a single source of truth. And in order to have that single lens of truth, you need all of your systems feeding into it. So it's not so much the integration, connecting the pipes together. It's having the team and the expertise and the project management skills to implement it.
So let's talk ROI. All right. So catering, of course, is one of those incremental areas of a restaurant that can be measured pretty easily. When you look at the future of what restaurants are dealing with in terms of, hey, we're going to spend money on cloud-based services or an ecosystem from a technology perspective, what is the return on investment that your company brings to them in terms of a catering solution?
Well, the ROI is very interesting because restaurateurs typically haven't been as technology savvy. Really, the only technology that's been developed traditionally has been their point-of-sale system. And they use that to ring up transactions. They're starting to get a lot better in understanding, okay, we need to understand our customers a lot better. So there is an investment there. So internally, we've developed tools, and whether it's through sales activation, promotion management, data that we provide them to give them operational efficiency where they can do things a lot smarter and more efficiently. That's really how we best try to explain our ROI. And at the end of the day, the monthly fees that they invest in a cloud-based solution, in most cases, is probably cheaper than their cell phones monthly fees. So that helps put some perspective.
So put an ROI now, put ROI on strategy, because now it's like this elusive, it's not really it's something you can touch, almost like the cloud product itself. How does a company evaluate that? Saying, okay, I'm going to invest in a reorganization of what I'm doing from a digital cloud-based perspective, from a strategic standpoint, but it's going to cost me some money to do that.
For sure. You know, it's fundamental business. It's no different for the restaurant business as compared to any business. Wherever you decide to put your focus and make your investments, if you are able to bring your organization into alignment, then typically the results are phenomenal. And so the biggest disconnect we find inside organizations is there's so many pressing issues. There's so much competition for resources that many restaurant companies we go into are the jack of nothing. They're just not doing anything well anymore.
How do you guys look at ROI?
Exactly. I think it'd be every marketer's dream to be able to actually show, you know, having your information on Yelp or on Google is getting you this much of transactions. Right now, it's very much based on the statistics that are out there done by Google and Nielsen, and saying how many people convert from a mobile app down to an actual restaurant and a purchase. So actually showing that, you know, we show the normal, what the, you know, if you're spending money on advertising, how many clicks you get or how much time people are spending or what publishers you're getting distraction from. But in terms of actual money coming in, we're actually creating a new platform that does that, and it allows people to transact on all of these different publishers. So a restaurant could actually prove that an order is coming through from Yahoo, or someone booked a table through Yellow Pages because they found their information.
Interesting. Paul, what do you see going forward? You know, back of house, POS, obviously the legacy systems have kind of evolved now. So you guys are getting to play with a lot of new toys.
Certainly labor, you know, is a big topic in the world today as well, right? But as far as trends go, I mean, our software already helps a company better manage their labor costs. But what we're doing now, and the trends are, it's not just about managing labor costs, it's really about getting the right worker at the right station, you know, at the right time. So it's one thing to be able to say, okay, we know exactly how many people we need today, but do you know which are the right people that should be there today during the right day parts? Do you have the ability to move those people from those star performers from location to location? And how do I measure that success?
You guys are sitting on top of one of the biggest catering industry businesses out there. What do you guys see moving forward in the big brands around catering, moving the needle?
Well, certainly what I'm seeing is that restaurants are starting to realize that catering is not about transactions, it's about relationships. The brands that get to know their customers and manage the conversations are the ones that are succeeding. It's not about the first order, it's about the second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. So I think that's really big. They're starting to realize that. Everyone's like, oh my goodness, now I need a CRM, that I got to go find a CRM, and so I can get to know my customers. Having that full 360 view of the customer, from acquiring them as a lead or as a prospect to when they become a customer, and their history with you is important. But from a software perspective, the biggest thing is going to be mobilization. There's salespeople out in the field. How do I give them this information? How can they easily capture an order on the road and have that tied into operations, the delivery drivers, tracking, direct communication back to the customer? That's all tied in to increase efficiency and reduce call volumes, because the administrator that's put that catering order, you know, she's making 2 or 3 phone calls, and you want to make sure that she's getting, or he is getting, the information that they need to be able to feel comfortable and know that they got trust in the brand, and the brand is going to deliver on their promise.
Beautiful. Guys, it's been fun chatting with you today. I think we've answered a lot of questions on this complexity of cloud and software as a service. It's been awesome having you. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for watching another episode of On Foodable Weekly here at the FS Tuck Show in New Orleans. We'll catch you on the next time.